Well, I mean, I was leading the league in scoring all the way to the last game, and by David scoring 73 points, he took the percentage over me. So the media called me and told me I need 59. Fortunately for me, like I said, Charles, I had a chance to play that E. So we go to the game, and Doug Moe, who was also one of my favorite coaches, went into the locker room and said, Larry, that David, scored 73. Take the lead from Ice, and we want Ice to get it. And Ice needs 59. I mean, 59, First 6 shots I missed. So I went back to the huddle. I tell you, I'll forget it, man. All the word about it. The guys kept saying, no, come on. And they encouraged me, and then the first quarter I ended up with 20. And then the second quarter I ended up with 33. And I only needed 59. So I ended up, getting 63 points in 33 minutes.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning with all of you out there. Welcome to another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk, live from the PLEX. We're back in our main studios, and we've got some memorabilia in the background. We've got Ed Young's 500 wind towel in the background. A lot to go over with all of you this morning. Good morning, sir. How is your Saturday here in the month of April, the 13th day, going? It's been a busy week. We have so much to cram into this show in so little time, and we've got some special guests that are going to join us. We've got James Clark going to come on around 10:50 Eastern or so to talk about the 757 soccer scene. We've got LeBron on today's show, ladies and gents. LeBron! It doesn't get much better than that. You got the Masters, the PIT coming up next week, the Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. Last night you saw George the Iceman Gervin, part of the great Squires reunion, Virginia Squires over there at the Portsmouth Renaissance Hotel. We were there for that great time that we had. Invited as a guest from the one and only Charles Hatcher, Sports Inside and Out. You see him on the screen there. There is the one and only Coach Charles Hatcher with us last night. Got a chance to. Ed was actually not with us in that picture. He took the picture as I was there with Coach Hatcher.
I might have been eating the.
You were definitely eating because the food was phenomenal. Hey,
phenomenal.
We had a good time last month at the state basketball tournament, and the spread there was great. I think the spread last night trumped it, and it's probably now 1B to my 1A Virginia Preps Basketball Classic hospitality.
It was.
It's right there.
Did a tremendous job last night at the Portsmouth Renaissance. It wasn't real light hors d'oeuvres. There was some good stuff. It's some roast beef. I'm not sure I had that good a roast beef in a while, and I think I even still have it. Took it home. Some great food, and then just a lot of great basketball memories from the Virginia Squire days. I'm an ABA fanatic back in the day. I can tell you a lot about the ABA. Read the books on it, did a paper on it in college. It's some good stuff. Listen to Gervin and Dr. J last night, and Jumbo Jim Eakins was Dave Dvorak talking last night to Charlie Scott running around, still hitting threes. Last night to see some people I hadn't seen in a while. So really good stuff last night.
Well, and for those that missed some of that, we've got some clips we're going to play throughout the morning. They'll be up probably on our Cova Sports TV page as well. Some of the conference, a little bit we played there coming up here to start the show. We had was Iceman talking about breaking the scoring record the year. Him and David Thompson. He needed, I think it was Thompson scored 73. And he
needed 59.
Yeah, and he got it.
His teammates told him, go for it. He was like, missed his first 6 shots. Fellas, it ain't going to happen. And they kept making him go. I think he had, 22 at the end of the first quarter?
Sure.
36 at halftime. So yeah, that was, I think 63 is career high in that game. So.
Like, share, and subscribe to our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel because you'll get all kinds of great content. We did an interview this week I did with Dave Twardzik, the former ODU great who won a championship with the Portland Trailblazers, and of course broadcasted at Old Dominion for a long time. Also was an NBA executive. Virginia Squires, great part of that group. You know, you saw Charlie Scott, George Iceman Gervin, Dr. J. You'll hear a little bit from Dr. J later on in the show. And Jumbo Eakins, among others. Don't have, Fatty Taylor with us. There was some others, Neil Johnson, so many greats from the Squires days in the 1970s. But you can watch that entire extended 40-minute interview with Dave Twardzik on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel. You can also go check out the new Tides Talk podcast with our man Jack Lowe. We'll have some neat updates from the Tides. We were at a Tides game this week at Harbor Park. You'll see a little snippet from that, and we'll have some thoughts with you on that later on in the show. Plus, Fact or Fiction will have a Tides question in it today. We'll do some Fact or Fiction later on in today's program. There you go. Fact or Fiction. Look at that nice little graphic the folks at Rivals came up with for us. That's just awesome. Fact or Fiction. Different than Fact or Fiction, because if they listened to our radio show back in the day, and we'll actually bring this back out, we would have a lot of guests, some athletes, some coaches that would play Ed in Fact or Fiction. It'd be a trivia question. That'll be a different thing we do. We did that with my dad, in fact, if you remember, back around the state football championships. He played you in Fact or Fiction and beat you. He'll probably play you again in Fact or Fiction and beat you in the trivia portion of our program on Father's Day weekend to celebrate being what a great father he is. But
well, we have to have an asterisk next to it because I'm not privy to the questions as the guests are.
Yeah,
I'm going to change the name to Fact or Friction.
Oh, is that what it is?
That would be better for me because and my astute agent right now, lawyer, is he was not here today, Vinny Venuso. He is
I think you left Vinny at home.
Yeah, he's working on some things. So but he's going to take care of the Fact and Friction thing too, so that I can have the questions ahead of time like the guests do.
As always,
my Yankees, first team to win 10 games this year.
Well, the Dodgers got 10 as well.
Yeah, but the Yankees.
But they lost last night, blew a lead against the Fernando Tatis Jr. led Padres. You see the matchups for today, scrolling across our ticker. NBA playoffs coming up. NFL draft is right around the corner. We're going to probably get on an NFL draft guest next week. We're going to get Pete Mishu from the Tides on soon, play-by-play voice for the Tides. We're going to get on probably our good buddy Bob Rathbun, longtime play-by-play voice for the Atlanta Hawks. He used to do broadcasting here in Hampton Roads, was on News Channel 3, WTKR for many years, and he's come on with us in the past on the radio, and I know he'll be delighted to. I think he's traveling today, that's why I didn't reach out. But so much going on, Ed. We just in so little time. I do want to get out there before we forget. A good friend of ours into the basketball community, Frank Bennett, is very ill right now in the hospital. We want to keep him in our thoughts and prayers. I know he's going through some tough times right now. So, Frank, if you're out there, or someone out there knows Frank and gets a chance to connect with him, we're thinking about you. We're praying for you, and we hope you pull through. I know he's had some tough health situations pop up here in the last several days. So all the best. And that was your first radio partner, in fact, back in the early 1990s.
Frank brought me on as a guest. I was a coach at Norview High School, brought me on as a guest, and I stayed for 20-some years. And again, we just hope Frank is able to get through what he is doing. I think it was something about a heart attack, but potentially. But it's just tough. And we really wish him the best, and anybody can reach out to him. I don't think he's taking visitors right now. I understand the situation other than immediate family. But we hope Frank pulls it through. Great. Talk about heart. He has a great heart for the youngsters in the area, basketball, and always has something good to say about everybody. I don't think he's ever said a bad word about anybody or anything. And he needs to come through this because we still need him.
Absolutely. Well, we're thinking about you, Frank, and all the best to him out there. And I also want to get out here before I forget, because we just wrapped up the NCAA men's basketball and women's basketball tournament. We actually had a page. I didn't get it up in time for the women's, so we get a lot of contestants for it, but we got about, I think, close to 100, maybe more, on our Cova Sports TV ESPN Bracket Challenge. And the winner was none other than Alex Huggy. So congrats to Alex. I know Chuck, Nick, and the entire gang at the head of Cova Sports TV, Hometown Sports Productions, will be in touch about whatever your prize is. He's a West Virginia fan.
I don't know what his prize is yet.
Well, hold on. He's a West Virginia fan. So maybe we've got like a musket count, one of those things with a record. I don't know what he wants. So they have some memorabilia items, I'm sure, some options for him to choose from. We actually invited him on the podcast today. He respectfully declined, which is perfectly fine. But Alex Huggy, congrats on winning the bracket challenge. He had UConn like so many others did. You did as well. I think you finished 5th in the bracket out of about 90-something people or 100-something people. And we won't say where I finished because it was not pleasant and it's not memorable and it's not something I want to, relay to the loyal listening audience and public out there because I shamefully took Auburn to win the whole thing, which was embarrassing and just disgraceful on every level.
Yeah, I mean, it was
football for a minute or something.
It was a great first half, UConn and Purdue, and then they just pulled away in the second. Purdue couldn't hit nothing. And the women's championship, better team beat the one so-called better player. But I tell you what, South Carolina's got some play. I'm in love with the Cardoza girl.
Camila Cardoza,
yeah, Big Red. I'm just, I'll leave it at that. But South Carolina and Dawn Staley, just another tremendous job. It's amazing. She's only lost 3 games in the last 3 years total. A machine, an absolute machine, and they're enjoying their thing. College basketball, there was the big surprise, and I ask you about how do we miss it? John Calipari leaves Kentucky, goes to Arkansas, and Arkansas finally got their replacement, and Mark Pope, former player at Kentucky, head coach at BYU, is going to move over. I know you're not.
Listen, we'll get to it with Fact or Fiction later on. I don't want to spoil it now, but I am not crazy about that. Look at all the people that turned it down. Billy Donovan apparently didn't want any part of it. The NBA coach for the Chicago Bulls, used to coach at Florida, won back-to-back national championships. In fact, the last head coach to win back-to-back national titles on the men's side prior to Danny Hurley and UConn's team getting it done, as he was able to pull it off at Florida 2006-07, back-to-back years with that group with Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer, Al Horford and company. Lee Humphrey hit some big threes to beat my guy Jim Larinaga and George Mason in the national semis in 2006 as they pulled away. But he didn't want any part of it, nor did Danny Hurley want any part of it. Scott Drew from Baylor turned it down. I'm not sure they even got to Rick Pitino on the list. If he was 61 as opposed to 71, it might have been more of a reality. But Arkansas is where John Calipari was. I was back in Arkansas in December. You remember that, right?
We did what?
I was in Arkansas back in December. I had to pinch hit for Ted Alexander on the men's radio broadcast alongside Dennis Wolf for ODU. And, we played this clip for those that missed it. Here it is. Yeah, Pig Suey. They go nuts. I don't know if you saw as Calipari got introduced. But real quickly, did you see Calipari's press conference at all?
Some of it. I saw it talking about no players in Arkansas right now. Everybody left.
Here you go. Here's that part for those that didn't see it. This was John Calipari the other day as he was introduced to America as the new head coach at Arkansas.
You know what? I'm jacked about another opportunity. I'm like, let's go. Now, I met with the team. There is no team. So now Hunter's really extremely confident, but we got to get a roster together. And some of it is a little bit of everything, but we will. It may take a little longer because there are kids that put their name in the NBA draft that are going to go through.
We met with the team. There is no team. Is that what you're going to say about you met with the team?
My team, there's nobody there.
We can't divulge where Ed Young will be coaching next season. If you haven't read the story that we had in the Suffolk News Herald or Virginia Preps 2 weeks ago, and it made the local newspaper, the Virginia Pilot Daily Press, earlier this week, you are not returning to coach for a 20th season at Nansman River, where you've gotten many of your 500 victories, as you see on the wall back there. But I know you are in negotiations, you and your agent, with various institutions, schools, places, fill in the blank. So we'll divulge that information when it is finalized and it is able to be revealed to the public.
Let's not put rumors out there.
I didn't put any rumors out there. I just said we'll put out the information when it's ready to be put out there.
Agent. I am not talking to anybody right now. Nobody's talked to me. No offers on the table.
Well, just tell us this: do you have to change
Kentucky down because it was too much money?
Oh, you're on the list too. You turned Kentucky down.
Yeah, it's too much money. I didn't want that.
Too much money.
So
wow. Did Barnhart reach out to you or somebody else?
The AD had contacted me.
So that's Mitch Barnhart. Okay.
And I just said it's too much money. I'm not taking that. My agent Vinny, he was a little mad at me for it because he gets 3% of that.
I know you had a lot of calls this week just from me riding in the Lamborghini, vehicle that you took us to in Wednesday night to Harbor Park. Jim Corrigan and Kenny Edwards and people that we'll have on the show that people know from their coaching and, in Kenny's case, administrative days, have been calling in to see how you are. But interesting. Barnhart reached. I didn't know that.
Yeah, some things are done in mysterious ways. So
Okay.
no, I'm still total free agent. No, nobody contacted me about any jobs. I haven't contacted anybody about any jobs.
Okay.
Let me make it clear. I still want to coach,
Okay.
and I want to go out my way when I want to go out, not right now. So my time in Ansborough was great, great people, players just tremendous, just absolutely tremendous players. And whoever takes my seat next year is going to have a load of really, really good kids who, in my estimation, that's an 18-win team next year right now. And it's tough to walk away from them under this situation because we're doing some good things and have been doing some good things. So I'm just trying to get my mindset and still wrapping around it. And all the well wishers, there's some people I still haven't reached out to. Please understand I will get to you. It's just in talking of it, it's still a little tough, but a whole lot of calls and people and text messages. Officials, I had calls by 4 or 5 officials, which really kind of threw me. So I guess I'm not too bad to most of the officials.
No, not terrible. Hey, this is a great time. Is this your favorite time on the sports calendar because you have so much going on? It's springtime. You just got done with spring break not too long ago, and he did divulge that he did watch some NBA games, and the NBA playoffs are upon us. The college tournament just finished up for basketball. You have, by the way, a lot of things happening here at the Plex. If you come over here to the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, you're going to see something every weekend, almost every day, whether it be soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, football coming up. We just got done with our 7-on-7 football league out here. There'll be more events. Again, go to beachsportsplex.com for all the details on all of that. But Ed, it's amazing. There's so much going on. The Masters. Have you tuned into the Masters at all in 2 days through 2 rounds? And Tiger Woods making his record 24th straight cut at the Masters. I thought Phil Mickelson might do a little bit better than Tiger because Phil has a history of doing very, very well in this event. I know they're both sort of viewed as the older guard, if you will, of the golf tournament. But my goodness, last year he finished up tied for runner-up. And if you look at Phil's background, he's one of 8 to win the Masters 3 times. He's finished top 5 12 different times. He's had 60 rounds under par at Augusta coming into this year, his 31st trip to the Masters. But have you looking at that all? And did you and your representatives throw any shekels on some of these Masters contests? There's a lot of these little Masters work contests people have. You didn't do any of that.
Normally I do. Now
flip that to me.
I haven't seen what the leaderboard is. I know Tiger Woods is not up there. I think he's one over and made the cut.
He made the cut.
Here. The guy I picked, and I only picked him because of this crazy reason. Guy named Scott Shepard.
Scotty Scheffler, who's the favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, once again, you went on a limb. Nice job by you. You picked UConn. You picked him. He's tied. He's in a 3-way tie for top of the board. Yeah,
I'm in there. I know
Bryson DeChambeau and Max Homa.
Here's the reason I picked Scotty Shepard. Shepard, I thought he's related to the basketball player at Kentucky. That's the only reason I picked him.
Scheffler. What basketball player at Kentucky?
Scheffler or Shepard? Which one is it?
Who are you talking about?
Who is Scotty? Who is it? Scheffler or Shepard?
For Kentucky?
No, for the Masters.
Scotty Scheffler is the golfer. Who are you talking about from Kentucky?
I thought at first his last name was Shepard, so I took the Kentucky guy. He said, well, maybe they're related, and I'll pick him for the Masters.
Who from Kentucky was Scheffler? I'm throwing a blank.
Shepard.
Shepard. I don't know how you get Shepard from Scheffler.
They're related. They're cousins.
How?
This is what I'm working with, people. So you got to have patience with us.
You're lost. You really got me lost here on that one. No, I had a couple. You know who my dark horse was? I took Will Zalatoris in one of my little pools I'm in. Will Zalatoris. You don't know Will at all?
He was somebody's caddy.
No, he's not somebody's. That's me. He's a real established golfer. Why are you taking shots at an American golfer who's from the great college of Wake Forest, 27 years of age? He's done very well over the years. I don't know why you're.
What is the greatest golfer of all time? Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus is not there.
Oh, he's not in it?
No, he's not. The Bear's not there.
I know Tiger Woods is the greatest of all time.
+1. Why are you getting people fired up? Okay. Well, we'll have a Masters question later on in the program with our Fact or Fiction. But I have a couple of contests that I'm trying to win, and one of them I do have Will Zalatoris, who right now is not exactly in contention. He's +3, tied for 30th. So there you have it. I would say right now, though, you got a good chance with Scheffler, who is the favorite coming in. DeChambeau was leading after 1 round by a smidge over Scheffler. I'd keep an eye on Colin Morikawa and also Cam Smith, who gets better as these events go on. I have to get you a little more schooled up on the golf there.
The problem with golf is you got too many guys jump to the live tour, and then you have a bunch of no names kind of left with the PGA Tour.
But you have the live golfers playing in this event. But that has been an issue for some folks with golf, and I do hear you completely on that. So a lot going on. If you want to interact with us, you got a question, you want to jump on, you're always welcome to reach out through our Twitter page on X or Facebook or YouTube. We encourage that greatly here on the program. Again, we're going to have LeBron on the show. We've got, as I mentioned, James Clark talk some soccer, 757 style. So much going on. NFL draft. We'll throw up a question with that coming up too here on Cova Sports TV and 757 Saturday Sports Talk. But right now we're going to take our first break and hear from some of the sponsors that make it all possible for us here at the Plex. And that includes CHKD and Zoop Eatery. We'll be back in just a bit. Ed's going to go find some refreshments and see if there's a hospitality room here at the Plex. I don't think you'll find one quite to the level of what we had at the Renaissance last night, but he will be digging
last night.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
Great joy in playing against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he was considered to be the #1 guy, and for that decade in the 70s, as I started my career in 1971, so I started up to 80, whatever the things that happened, I was always looking up to him, and when the 80s came around, we played for the championship in 80, we played for that championship in 82, and then we played for that championship in 83. So in 83, when 76ers swept the Lakers out, unfortunately, we had Moses Malone on our lap. He was scared of nobody. He wasn't looking up to nobody. And he's a Virginian, too. So he helped get the monkey off my back in terms of looking up to that guy all those years. And now I just look up to him as an ambassador and as opposed to a really smart guy and a very capable friend. But there were guys who I hated to go against. I told you earlier, Joe Caldwell was one of them. Because, back in the day, we all played against Joe Caldwell, but he always guarded me. He might have guarded nice a few times too. But he was a very more than adequate defensive player. And he had the hand check down back. And he knew how to hand check. If you went right, he put that hand on you, you had to go left. If he put that hand on you, you had to go right. And whatever. So Joe Caldwell and the aforementioned Warren Shabali, those were two guys. I always seem to have more trouble with guys who were shorter than me and taller than me. Because taller than me, I Logan, but I still like to drive. Because I want to sit out there, shoot set shot. That's so boring. So boring. Oh, go in there and attack the big guys. But you got to get around now. There's a 6'4" guy who's hand checking you to get to the big guys. Or whatever. So it's a two-step process. But I figured it out.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Cova Sports TV. Also available on Twitter or X at 757 Sports Talk. Facebook with our Virginia Beach Sportsplex Facebook channel, virginiapreps.com. Also Apple and Spotify for those that didn't get a chance to watch that. You heard some of that audio. It's very faint. We do apologize. Some of the mics there at the Renaissance were a little bit low and had some technical issues. But Dr. J was asked about guys that were tough competitors. Who was the toughest guys he went up against? He mentioned Warren Jabale and Joe Caldwell, which would not be names, but he started off with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and what a force he was at until they got Moses Malone, also a Petersburg guy from the state of Virginia. But neat to hear some of those stories and the sense of humor and just the recall for so many of these greats that were a part of the Squires in the 1970s, and just to see the turnout last night, 500 plus, it felt like that were there. It was a packed house, and might very well be, given some of the ages of these folks, the very last time they get together. I know there was one, we were talking with Ed Miller, a longtime sports reporter in the area, worked for the Pilot for many years, that he was at the one about 10 years ago, and this one he thought in many ways was as good, if not better. I don't mean to speak for Ed here, but nonetheless, it was a fun evening, that's for sure.
Yeah, getting a chance to see Doc talk. And, of course, if you don't know anything about Dr. J, Dr. Julius Ervin, then you're just too young in the sport. And I always tell people, if you call yourself somebody who's an avid fan of a sport, you should know the history of it. A lot of people, young people, don't take the time to do that. Dr. J is one of the all-time greatest. It's kind of Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. And got to start in the ABA, played the University of Massachusetts. High flyer in the ABA can really score the basketball. You knew he was getting it with 10 seconds to go in the game, down one. You knew he was getting it no matter what. And I would say 95% of the time he delivered. And it was good to hear him talk last night. Now, he didn't mingle in the crowd a whole lot. And the reason for that was, I know some people are a little upset. He would have never got a word in edgewise any time. Even Gervin. So many people coming up to him and getting autographs, wanting pictures, people actually grabbing onto him and making him take a picture, stuff like that nature, because they're so high popular. Both considered top 50 all-time NBA because they transitioned into the NBA after the ABA folded, merged with the NBA. I wonder if our people out there know the 4 NBA teams who have roots in the ABA. We know because it's so easy.
Also, I could do it for you right now, but
just wonder if people know who that is.
If the audience out there knows,
don't look it up. Hurry up and give it to us in
Google. Well, did they win a prize?
They win a prize.
Did they win a? This segment was brought to you by Gatorade. Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. The Gatorade is what you'll do.
Gatorade.
You're gonna mail them the Gatorade. You gotta come here and get it.
They can have my Gatorade. So
they can have your Gatorade. You didn't want that you.
But Dr. J was tremendous last night with his stories, and when he mentions people, Warren Jabale's name lit me up because Warren Jabale, formerly Warren Armstrong in the ABA, young guard, he was out of Marquette, about 6'2", was one of the toughest. He was like a Sugar Ray Leonard type player. He was a fighter, and he would get under your skin every time. And Doc said that he had trouble playing against it because he had trouble against the smaller guys, but he never really got under Doc's skin. But there was a situation with the Squires one time that he got under somebody's skin. Mr. Neil Johnson, who played for the Squires, unfortunately wasn't there last night, lives in Virginia Beach. He actually decked Warren Jabale.
Yeah.
First player in the NBA to do it. And
you were wanting to get a chance to ask some questions. They went to the audience, and the mic, you didn't get a chance to, and we didn't get a chance. You were busy with school, and I had some other things going on obligation-wise. Didn't get a chance to go to they had a media center for some of the local media gathering. And again, we thank Coach Hatcher a ton for inviting us over there and letting us be a part of the whole night. You see Coach Hatcher on the screen there. Wonderful coach at Norview. He's got some roots to the 757 and always gives back. But Ed, you're right. You wanted to ask about the fights. The ABA had some great fights back in your days of growing up and becoming a fan of the sport, right?
Yeah, and that's not what drew me to it. It's just like, National Hockey League. Everybody loves the fights. I hate them. Fights are in the boxing ring, not on the ice or not on a basketball court. But the ABA had some players who wouldn't mind throwing down if need be. John Brisker is the all-time greatest, who was a very good player at the University of Toledo. Very strange character, played for the Pittsburgh Condor franchise and a couple other ones. He mysteriously vanished. The rumor has it he went to Uganda for some kind of a safari trip or something, and they think he might have ended up in a pot of stew over there because he was never heard of again.
Ended up in a pot of stew?
Stew.
Like beef stew or Brunswick stew?
And they that's the rumors.
I'm not going to Uganda anytime soon.
That's the rumors.
Yeesh.
But there's a book out, Loose Balls, by Terry Paluto on the history of the ABA. If you're a basketball fan, get it, read it. I've read it twice. I have it. It is a tremendous read about the ABA, in depth, inside stuff about going on with the ABA league. And remember, the ABA brought about the 3-point shot that the NBA has. ABA used a red, white, and blue ball. I used to think it was like a beach ball, but it's not. It's a regular basketball, just colorful. And in fact, I am going to effort my chances here of getting an ABA ball. I'm going to go ahead and buy one. They are now selling them back online. There's an outfit out. There's 2 places now, I think, are selling the
You're going to put it up on like a little background here, memorabilia stand for you?
I want it. I don't want nobody to walk away with it. It would have been great to have it last night and get those guys to sign it. But trying to get signatures last night was like, I don't know. It was hard. It was people just running up and grabbing the people and just stepping in front of them. They're human beings, first of all, too. Yeah, I don't like bothering people about that. Never was a big autograph seeker. A lot of times when they're out in public, they just want to be out there cordially, but they're not out there to sign. But they were being grabbed left and right, especially Gervin and Irving last night. So, but yeah, read about the ABA. If you're a basketball fan, you'll love it.
Well, there's 2 names that don't have direct Squires connections, but there's kind of the old, point A to point B to point C, and it ties you into it. And you probably know where I'm going. Larry Brown and Rick Barry. You actually were talking about Rick Barry on our way over there last night. In fact, Jumbo Eakins talked about it because Rick Barry, he didn't play for the Squires, right?
Did not want his comment. And I'll say this, not my opinion, is what he said.
And you interviewed him one time years ago on radio.
He was not going to bring his family to live in the South. That's exactly his quote about he did not move to Virginia with the team. He left again, and I think he went back to the Warriors in the NBA because that's where Rick Barry got his stuff. Rick Barry's an all-time great shooter, 6'7" kid out of the University of Miami. His sons have played in college basketball over the years ago.
Brent and John.
Brent Barry, Scooter, and John Barry.
Yeah, and John did some TV work for a while. As did Brent. Both of them did.
Yeah, they played in college ball and played in the NBA a little bit also, too.
Brent won a slam dunk contest, which
go.
Dr. J was asked about his slam dunk. But speaking of Rick Barry, here's what Jumbo Eakins had to say about Rick Barry last night that cracked the crowd up a little bit.
Rick Barry blew his knee out in a game. And the next game we were in New York playing the Nets. And Coach got us together before the game and said, okay, guys, this adversity has hit us, but we've just got to get together, and finish the year out. And we all kind of looked at one another and said, what's he talking about? And so we went out, and by halftime we came in, and we were probably about, if I remember, somewhere 12 to 15 points ahead. And Coach Hannon came in and said, guys, we can win this game. And we said, yeah, we don't need Rick Barry. And we went on, and as I indicated earlier, we had a championship season that year. Wow. But Rick was a great player, and he teamed up with Larry Brown and Doug Mull on that. That was the trinity of the team, and then it was a great team.
You talk about.
So there you have it. That was Jumbo Eakins on Rick Barry. They didn't need Rick Barry to win, as that was the line last night from him. And he in many ways was one of the forgotten. He and Twarzik had no problem poking fun at themselves a little bit. Like they knew Iceman, Gervin. They knew Dr. J. They knew Charlie Scott. Those were the headliners, the all-stars, the marquee forces, if you will. I mean, Dr. J being the first ever all-star game MVP, which Dave talked about in his in-depth conversation. Again, if you hadn't gotten a chance to watch that in-depth chat we had, it's up on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel, and it's been shared all over the web here. But Ed, in Charlie Scott's case, he was the first African-American, first black at North Carolina, and took so much pride in that, and had himself a fine career. And Iceman, I mean, his scoring accolades are legendary. You heard him talk about it with, of course, the battle he had with David Thompson towards the end of that one particular season. So there were some great players, but also some that were fan favorites. You could see how much after the event was over, people just wrapping up Eakins and Twardzik as well, because they're, and this is something I think that we talked about it last night after the event was over with Ed Miller a little bit with college basketball now with the portal and so much. You don't have those attachments to certain individuals as much because there's so much player movement, but there was a lot of attachment for the audience and the loyal fans of the Virginia Squires to those players in the 70s, whether it was someone of the stature and caliber of Doc or someone that was the more loyal name around the area like an Eakins or a Twardzik. There's certainly an affinity for either type of player, if you will, the big name guy or the role players that played their role and knew their role.
Well, in the case of Twardzik and Eakins, both had what I always like to say, serviceable careers in pro basketball. They weren't there for a cup of coffee. There was a young gentleman there last night, Rick Darnell. Didn't get much fanfare last night at all. I played, I think, 11 games with the Squires. And I had to look up his statistics and that. I didn't remember him as well as I remembered some of the other Squires. But you still played. I mean, that's the key. You still played. That we haven't done that, as a whole lot of people haven't, and never will. But those guys had decent careers. But like they said, they were more the other guys, as Jim put it. He says, when they talk about the Doc and Scott, Charlie Scott was a very good professional basketball player, let alone college and high school. And of course, Gervin is Gervin too. They said when they said those guys' names, and they would say the others were the others. I had a little bit more than that. They were a little bit more than that. They had very good careers too. And like I said, the ABA, a lot of people think, oh, that was a minor league? No, it was not a minor league. It was a new professional league that took on the NBA. At the time that the NBA didn't have a lot of the pizzazz that it has now, even though that's being questioned. It was a different NBA back then. So the ABA could go after it. And the ABA was good to steal good players. Barry, Billy Cunningham, the previously mentioned Jumping Joe Caldwell out of the St. Louis Atlanta Hawk franchise. So they took some NBA players and were able to pay them somewhat. The league had trouble with some teams. There was a lot of movement. Earl Foreman is the one that brought the team to Virginia, and it was a regional franchise playing in Norfolk, Hampton Coliseum. They also, when they played in Norfolk, they started out at the Fieldhouse. A lot of people don't remember that. They thought it was a Scope, but it was the Fieldhouse where they played. Then they played at the Scope, played at Hampton Coliseum, which at the time was Hampton Roads Coliseum. They took the name Roads out, and then played some games at the Richmond Arena, Richmond Coliseum, and also played a few games in the Roanoke area. So they were a team that moved around the state. I think Roanoke was only for 1 year, and then they concentrated more in this area. So it was a true state team that got to go around and see people play. When they were the Washington Capitals, which was the Washington Caps, before they became Virginia.
This is a little bit of the Charlie Scott, Larry Brown story. We'll get to it in a second, but go ahead.
That's where they were before. The Washington team originally was the Oakland Oaks.
Yeah.
Moved to Washington, became the Caps. And do you know they kept the Washington franchise in the Western Conference? So they played a West Coast schedule.
Which is kind of what we got in college now with the ACC bringing in Cal and Stanford from the West Coast, which makes no sense. So, hey, we just all tie back to where we are now.
I forgot that tidbit last night, but because their home court was in Los Angeles. The Washington franchise home court was in L.A. So get that for times of people coming out and see him play. It was crazy as when Atlanta Falcons were in the NFL West Division, which I thought was one of the dumbest. The only dumb thing that's going on right now is the Cowboys playing in National Football League East Division. which is
NFC East. That's the only dumb thing.
It's a stupid one of the dumbest things.
That's the only dumb thing.
That's not the only dumb thing with the NFL.
I was gonna say do we have enough time in this pocket? We put what's podcast. We don't have like breaks like we do with TV and radio.
But the Cowboys belong in the West, but that'll never happen.
NFC West.
NFC West.
They can finish in what, 4th place every year behind the 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals and the LA Rams.
No, they would finish 1 or 2 every year.
Really?
They would
finish 1 or 2 every year ahead of San Francisco, who they never beat in the playoffs.
Probably.
When was the time they beat San Francisco in a playoff game?
San Francisco, the Rams, every 4 years, Cardinals would give them trouble.
Oh, boy. Listen
to Seattle.
Yeah, listen to you.
Yeah, they would. The Cowboys would
hold on for dear life to beat Seattle this year on a Thursday night game. I remember because I was coming back with ODU women from William and Mary. Before we go to break, because we have James Clark waiting patient, we're going to pop him up earlier and talk some 757 soccer with all you last night. That was a great clip I saw. I want to get to in a minute too in soccer. It might have been, I guess, goal of the year for the time being. But not only were there great players like Dr. J and Iceman and Rick Barry that starred in the ABA, you had great broadcasters, Marty Brenneman, who will probably get on soon, longtime Cincinnati Reds announcer. He came in right there after Al Michaels. You had Bob Costas, St. Louis Spirits. I think Bob did the games for us. You had some decorated coaches. You heard Jumbo Eakins talk about Alex Hannum. You obviously from our area, people think of Al Bianchi. We think of Jack Ankerson, who was only a coach for a brief moment, but also executive there. And Jack's been a wonderful, legendary public address announcer for so many sports in our area. I call him kind of the voice of sports in Hampton Roads. But in addition to that, the coaches like, Hannum, and you think of the Browns, like Hubie Brown, who's still kicking, by the way, 90-plus years old, doing some games his last year, I think, doing TV and radio, which is fantastic.
He coached the Kentucky franchise in ABA, which is one of the greatest franchises.
Yeah. And you think of Larry Brown. Larry. And Charlie Scott talked about Larry. Wherever he went, Larry bolted. Here's a little bit of that.
My connection came through with Larry Brown and Doug Moore, who was playing for the Washington Cats at that time. And it's a real strange story because Larry Brown had recruited me to go to the University of North Carolina. And I got there, and I went to the University of North Carolina, the next year Larry Brown left. So, I thought it was me. Then, to be honest with you, when my senior year came to college, Larry Brown recruited me to come play for the Virginia Squires, the Washington Cats. So, maybe I thought he really liked me. So, I came to Virginia and Larry left.
Larry wanted Charlie Scott, and then Larry said bye-bye. He wasn't staying there long, which has kind of been Larry in a sense. When you think of, this is the case with a lot of Hall of Fame players, Ed. You think, like, what's your Hall of Fame, they say in baseball, what's your Hall of Fame bust? What's your, I don't know that Larry's got one team that you say, that's who I think of first and foremost. So he won a championship at the end of his coaching career, towards the end of his coaching career with the Detroit Pistons. You don't always think of him with one particular outfit franchise. He won, obviously, a national championship with Danny and the Miracles at Kansas, but pretty neat there. Charlie Scott, again, along with Dr. Julius Irving, Iceman George Gervin, Dave Twardzik, and Jumbo Eakins last night at the Virginia Squires reunion. Any final thoughts before we go to break here?
No, just tremendous. I'm really glad I had a chance to be part of it. Reminiscent about the ABA, as I said, true love for the ABA in basketball. And I remember as a kid watching the New York Nets in Pennsylvania where I lived. We got the Nets feed on, I think it was one of the New York WPIX, I think, out of New York. So I got to see the Nets a lot, got to see Dr. J a lot, Rick Barry some. Of course, I saw Rick Barry a lot with the NBA. Back then, the NBA was not broadcast live on TV. It was more of a tape delay stuff for the NBA. But Rick Barry was a tremendous player. But the ABA was great. They had characters galore in that league. And, will there ever be another league in basketball to try to challenge the NBA? I think there will be. I think they have a better chance of challenging the NBA than some of the upstart footballs trying to challenge the NFL. They're never going to touch the NFL. And if they're going with the idea of maybe merging eventually, that's even going to be very tough. It's good. Pretty much any pro league that's going on now, like the UFL right now, you're basically a feeder program, a minor league for the NFL, and maybe take some players. And speaking of new leagues,
I'm glad you brought that up because you were just going to my final segue as we were getting ready to go to break and then bring in James Clark. There is some news that's out there. News.
Coming
the
to
new
Norfolk
football
Virginia
league
or whatever. Virginia Beach.
It's interesting. A new football league, and it is coming to Hampton Roads Pro Football. The Virginia Aces are being launched. I thought for a moment they stole my team name. Remember, I was doing all that NBA 2K, playing the Xbox video game, which I haven't had a chance to do now, except when my little niece wants to play Mario in my room. She's 7 years old, and I'm subjected to that, being a kid again. Everybody wants to be a kid, like I'm going to Toys R Us or something, which doesn't exist anymore. And I would play that during COVID because, COVID, we couldn't do a lot. It wasn't a lot of any live sports. It was watch the old games, which I enjoyed to a degree, but you can only watch so many old games. So I got my little fix with the Virginia Beach Vipers, which was my created little NBA team I did in the video game. We were mowing down people left and right. I was like, did they steal my team? They didn't take Vipers, thankfully. They named Virginia Aces, and it's going to be one of 22 teams in the newly formed Major League Football, MLF. Okay, I know what you're thinking over there, dirty mind. MLF, Major League Football, and it's going to kick off this fall. And the team's going to keep an eye on UFL and semi-pro talent. Each player's got to be at least 18 years of age, and they're reportedly going to play their home games at Dick Price Stadium, Norfolk State's Dick Price Stadium, September 22nd with the kickoff. So we'll see. Instead of having to go to D.C. or Carolina or Baltimore, they'll be right here in the 757. We wish it well. There's been other leagues that started up. Remember, here at the Plex, the highly successful Virginia Destroyers with the late, great Marty Schottenheimer. Never better. I say that because he always called into the radio with that little slogan, never better, when he came on. And he won a championship right outside here at the Plex. You wish these leagues well. You just wonder if they can stay funded and be –
it's all about money, 100% money.
Can they be successful, resourceful? You wish it well, and we'll see how it goes come September. If they can get to September, which is also the key.
Well, that's the thing. A great minds, great ideas, starting a boardroom somewhere to get it out on the field. And football is an expensive sport. You're talking about helmets, uniforms, insurance. Wow.
4-team Central Division, by the way, along with West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, as far as teams from those states.
I haven't seen all the teams, but apparently they're bundled in certain areas of the country.
We'll effort GM Dwight Carter Jr. to come on at some point before September, assuming that things go as planned. And like I said, we wish it all the best. I know people talked about, ever since and this is a big part of the sports discussion, I think, is ever since the Squires departure, we've not had a professional. We've had minor league baseball. The Tides have been great. We'll show a little clip later on from our little visit to Harbor Park and hit on the Tides and Fact or Fiction. You've got great college teams, high schools beloved here, but we haven't had that major pro team. And there's a variety of reasons why that is, but we'll see if this have some success and get off the ground, which is
bothers me. I don't think an NFL franchise will ever come here. And partly the reason is D.C., Baltimore, and possibly Carolina won't allow it because those teams vote.
Is that the biggest reason, or are there other reasons beyond that? I would say there's other reasons beyond it, not to get into a long-winded discussion or argument with you on that.
My opinion, and I'm speaking as somebody not in those discussions, so you got to be careful. These cities, 7 cities, can't get together.
Well, I agree with that point. But I think there's a lot of reasons. The traffic, there's so many different things, the elements that go into it. It's not just one specific thing.
Traffic's a reason for every pro sport issues everywhere. I mean, most of them are in the big cities and traffic is crazy. So you got to work around that, depending on where you put a stadium. But the problem in this city is nobody get it. We're the 11th largest, quote, metropolis, if you count all the 7 cities in the country. Number 11. You've got Green Bay, Wisconsin has an NFL football team. Green Bay, Wisconsin has like 7 people in the city. All right. You've got way, way smaller cities with other major league franchises, be it hockey, baseball, the 4 big leagues, hockey, baseball, football, basketball. For some reason, we still don't put Major League Soccer in there. Soccer could survive here, has survived here in Major League Soccer.
You saw UFL come. I mean, we've got commercials, and they play here.
Yeah, but nationwide, for some reason, we
mean the big 4. By the way, we're talking about basketball, football, baseball, hockey is the big 4.
We're putting them behind.
Sure.
My opinion, the sport that would work in this area the quickest, the fastest would be professional basketball. And I think the Squires embedded that years ago. Now that you put the right type of money, of course, it's much more expensive now. Everything costs way more now. Salaries are ridiculous. Talked about Dr. J saying how much he made, like was it 50,000, and then they offered him a 4-year, $500,000 contract. So, but I wish someday we can have it.
All right, we're going to take a time out now and come back with James Clark as we'll talk about the 757 soccer scene here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Cova Sports TV. We thank you for wherever you are tuning in from. And now this from Town Bank and those that make it possible for us to stream and talk sports with you from the Plex.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League Two Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
Welcome back to 757 Sports Talk. No, it's not in the pool. It's Hatfield and Young at the PLEX, the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Here are two guys that, even though they never shut up, they're always dropping pearls of wisdom. Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel wherever you're tuning in from Instagram Live, where we are now, as well as Facebook, Apple, Spotify, VirginiaPreps.com. You name it. We thank you for making it part of your day. We now have a special guest with us. He is with 757 Soccer Chat. You can find it on Instagram. You can tell you more about it. James Clark with us. James, thanks for stopping by. How's your weekend going so far?
So far, so good. I appreciate you guys having me on. I do have to say, Matt, that even though I have known for a long time you're a longtime Cardinals fan, I have to side with Ed that the Cowboys would finish 1 or 2 every year in that division.
Oh, you would.
There you go,
James. Oh.
I'm glad you said it.
James, it was nice having you on the show today. See you later, James. Bye. No, we're going back. There you go. Adios, James. Wow, he agreed with you. So he's already shot up in the top 5 of our guests now with you, Ed.
I knew he knew what he was doing. So, and I'm just glad he brought it out, unsolicited response. And James knows these things, and he's biased because he's not called me. We've not talked. It's just the way it is. Cardinals are good, but Cowboys are better.
Unbelievable. Well, hey, James, before we dive into the teams, I know Great Bridge Boys, Kellum Girls, a myriad of teams that people can check out your rankings, and I want you to highlight that, how they can find all your different content. I know you do a soccer podcast for people, too, that they can check out on Spotify. I saw it last night, and the reason I know the name is because he is the son of a former basketball coach in our area at Churchland. He's now the athletic director at Smithfield. Pat Doolin, we're talking about his son, Brody, freshman. Did you happen to see his goal last night? And is that I wish I had the video queued up here, unfortunately, to show to folks that haven't seen it, but you can check it out on Twitter, X, and Instagram, I'm sure. But did you happen to see his goal? And is that at the top of your list of those that you've seen so far in the early portion of the season as we approach the midway point?
So, fun fact, his dad actually sent me the video this morning,
Okay.
and if you want, I can share my screen. I can pop it up real quick.
If you've got the ability, we'll take that for folks. Now, people listening on Spotify or Apple won't be able to watch it, but those on YouTube and Facebook and so forth can check out the goal. It's a heck of a goal. It looked like it was from 30 plus feet out, right?
Probably about 40, because it's more of a free kick closer to the sideline. so it's got the angle to it. It's not just like a straight on field goal, because up there they're playing at Warner Stadium up in Williamsburg.
Correct.
And it's not just straight on like it would be at the goalpost. It's actually from closer to the sideline. It's about 40 yards, flies over the goalkeeper's head. It is a fantastic goal. Let's see if I can pull it up on my end. I've got it on my other screen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to swing it over.
No worries. You can't.
But yeah, it's fantastic goal. We actually, for my Instagram and for all of my content, we actually put out a goals of the week section for boys, for girls, and then we do Sunday submissions from fans. So fans can actually send us goals, and we edit the clips, put them all together, and then we put them on our Instagram so that folks can go to 757 soccer chat, 757_soccer_chat, and they can actually check out all of the different goals that happen during the week, and they can see all of the different awesome shots and from all the high school players, as well as we do saves of the week as well. So I was a former goalkeeper myself, so wanted to highlight some goalkeeper athleticism. So we do saves of the week as well. Tons of content. And we put those out. We've been putting those out consistently every week since the season has begun. We've got about probably 25 videos worth of just ridiculous highlights strictly from 757 athletes, which we are ecstatic to be a part of the 757 soccer community.
Awesome.
Hey, James, real quick, you mentioned about you playing. When we get like our first time guest on here, or guests we haven't had in a while, let the people know your background soccer, where you went to high school, any play after high school, and up to the point you're at now.
So I didn't have the distinction of being able to play after high school. I went to what used to be Woodrow Wilson High School in Portsmouth, graduated from there in 2008. After that, I spent a number of years coaching at Wilson, and then I was the head coach for Manor Boys for the past 5 years. Stepped down from that to take some time for myself, and this actually is a product of missing the sport and missing being a part of the high school soccer scene and wanting to be a part of it as well. I've done a few different things as far as athletics go and working with different athletic programs. Worked with VB City for a little bit of time when they first started up, and pushing now to be more of an all-encompassing framework and mirror for all of the things that are happening in the Hampton Roads community for soccer. A lot of the things that we have going on now in the area go unspoken or unnoticed. There's a lot of new semi-pro clubs that are happening, and then a lot of our athletes who do well in sports like basketball and football, they also come onto the pitch and they perform as well, even if it's not their necessarily their main sport. So my thing now for this is trying to push forward and put those athletes into the spotlight with the help of the community, and really make soccer the spring sport when it comes to high school athletics. Obviously, we've got football and we've got basketball. And now it's kind of there seems to be a hole when it gets to this time of the year for high school athletics, because there's not a lot of baseball talk or softball talk. There's not a premier outlet for those places. So really wanting to find an opportunity, find a space where we can really highlight more high school kids and more 757 soccer centric teams in the area through this medium.
That's awesome to hear. And again, we mentioned VB United out here, a lot of games at the Sportsplex where we are doing our podcast with lacrosse and soccer. You see our man Nick up there, VB United go 12-0. We'll get some thoughts on what Jane thinks about them and some other soccer beyond just the high school run before we let them run here. But I want to hit on while we got you here. And again, we have so many great things over here, from lacrosse to field hockey, soccer, football, in between. Is it Great Bridge the number one boys soccer team? Is it Kellum the number one girls soccer team? How wrong is that? What's your view of it right now? If you had to take it big picture scope, I know there's, as Ed knows this with basketball being a coach, various divisions, folks that follow the sports scene, whether it's the winter, fall, or spring, know it's, I wouldn't say clunky, but very different from years ago when it was AAA, AA, single A at 6 classifications. What's your view of things right now? Big picture as we're at the midway point thereabouts.
It's clunky, but it works in some ways and it doesn't in others. In a way that it does work is it puts a lot of teams together that should play together. A lot of the 3A schools, the smaller-ish schools, your Lake Taylors, your Norcoms, your Colonial Heights, your Lakelands, they belong playing together because they're all the same size and they're all generally the same skill level. But then you look at a division like 5A that has 14 teams, and you're looking at 10 beach schools, and you're looking at 4 Southeastern District schools. And if anybody knows anything about soccer, everyone knows that this is what we would call the premier division, not just in Hampton Roads, but in the state. It has Great Bridge, it has Hickory, it has Cox, Kellam, First Colonial, Ocean Lakes, Kempsville. It's just stacked. And a lot of soccer folks kind of grit our teeth at the VHSL for and the Beach District and the Southeastern District going, how did you let this happen? Genuinely, when we get to the playoffs, the 5A boys and girls playoffs, regional playoff matches will look like a state tournament. You genuinely could put those 8 teams when we get to the playoffs in the state tournament and no one will bat an eye. And you could leave the rest of the entire state alone. So consensus right now, Great Bridge is the best boys team. In my rankings, that is where I had them as well. But right behind them are different powerhouses from different districts and different areas. For soccer's a little different. We claim Williamsburg, we claim Smithfield, we claim Eastern Shore. As far as the 757 goes, because it's everybody comes together for those regions and those matches, and a lot of for soccer, there's a lot of travel involved when it comes to going to different matchups and going to your regional matchups. So we claim all those schools, and especially now that the Williamsburg kind of reporters, journalism spectrum, they're also combining with the 757 spectrum here with the pilot. Those are also, it kind of conglomerated, especially more so after COVID. So now you're looking at Jamestown, boys and girls, both of them in the top 5 for my rankings. You're looking at Menchville, both of them top 10 for my rankings, both boys and girls. For the ladies side, however, I've actually gone a different way from the consensus. I think that the Lafayette Rams are the best girls side in the within 757 soccer right now as far as high school girls go. Now, Kellam and First Colonial, both of those ladies squads are right there with them. If I keep telling people, if I ranked Kellam 1, Lafayette 2, First Colonial 3, I wouldn't be wrong. If I ranked First Colonial 1, Kellam 2, Lafayette 3, I wouldn't be wrong. But after seeing all of those teams, especially I was at the First Colonial and Kellam match as well, and seeing all of those teams play multiple times, for me, Lafayette, they're just that little smidge above that takes the cake. And with what's surprising with that is they are a 3A classification. So they actually are one of the smaller schools in the Hampton Roads area. And because of that, a lot of people dismiss them. A lot of people say, we're not going to worry about them. But I'm willing to bet if they came out to the beach and they played Kellam, Cox, First Colonial, Ocean Lakes, Princess Anne, Kempsville, all of those squads, they do just as well, if not better than, some of the squads that would be in the 5A spectrum. And then I'm gonna tip my cap to Ed here real quick as well, for his former school, for Nansemond River. Both the boys and the ladies, they are in the top 15 in the rankings, and they're fantastic to watch. The ladies actually beat Menchville Thursday night 4-0, and then the boys last night beat Salem 4-0. So both those squads jumping up into the rankings, doing very, very well. Definitely going to be seeing them a lot more as the season goes on.
Awesome stuff. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, James. Where's my Nansen River people? I was in the gym the other night after school doing some work, and the girls came in. They was doing a solar eclipse. They weren't allowed to practice outside.
Yeah.
And they were in the gym working, and I went to kick a few times against the goalie. I said, I'm going to score on you. I think I made 1 out of 6 kicks, and that was it.
I'm amazed you made that one.
My leg was going to fall off.
Yeah.
They're good girls, fun girls to be around, very active.
Oh, yeah.
Very, just a little bit of practice I saw, very intense. And I know the boys have done well, too, lately. So I just wanted to see where you had them in your rankings and maybe what their chances are in terms of moving on in the regionals later on.
They're climbing. I think, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the boys are undefeated. I want to say they've got 4 wins or 5 wins and a draw.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
And then the ladies are as well. I got my standings here.
When I asked her, I think the young lady told me they had played 3 at the time and they hadn't lost any. So I didn't know.
Yeah, because they played Smithfield and they drew with Smithfield, and then this week coming up was I'll be honest, I was supposed to go to the Smithfield game on Thursday, and I swapped it in my calendar for another one, and then that one got canceled, and I was going to go to the Jamestown Tab matchup, which was a matchup of top 5 undefeateds in my rankings. And then the storm popped that out on Thursday. Because I work in Churchland right now. So being there and then trying to get up through tunnel traffic to Williamsburg for a 5:00 kickoff when I get out at 4:30 is impossible. So I meant to go. I didn't get a chance to go to Nansen River the other night, but I saw them play Maury Tuesday. And both of those squads, the Maury ladies and the Nansen River ladies, that was a regional final matchup from last season that Nansen River won their first regional title for Region 5B over the Commodores last year. So I wanted to see that rematch. And then the Nansen River ladies, they took care of business and won that matchup 2-0. But I will give a shout out to the Maury goalkeeper, Lily White. She is a D1 commit. She is genuinely the best goalkeeper in the 757 on the ladies' side that I have seen. Just fantastic athleticism, fantastic range, and she can distribute the ball. She's probably the best distributor of finding a teammate with a pass from the back that I've seen in 20 years. And I've been around high school soccer for a long time. She's an incredible player. So kudos to her for what she's doing. And then the Maury boys unfortunately fell, I believe, 4-0 as well. Close match for about 70 minutes, and then Nansen River kind of took over in the last 10 and dealt them a blow. Maury boys, unfortunately, are down this year. They've only won 1 match out of 6. And being in Region 5B, where the point standings, the way that the teams are ranked for playoffs, that actually has them 9th right now out of 10 teams. And they're going to, if the playoffs started today, they would miss. They would be the 9th seed and they would be out, which when you look at 5B, while 5A, yes, is a powerhouse with all the beach schools and Great Bridge and Indian River, Deep Creek, 5B is going to be probably the most fun playoff matchups to watch because the level of soccer isn't quite – it's a different kind of soccer. It's a little more physical. It's a little less technical, but there's still really good ability and really good quality among the kids. But the action gets a little bit closer together. So there's going to be a lot more fouls, a lot more whistles, and a lot more intensity that you would see. It would almost be like going to the fields on a weekend and watching a tournament. It's
like the 5B football and 5B boys basketball. Some really competitive. We saw Maury dominating football, and then at Warwick and Kings Fork and Nansman all were challengers. And in basketball, Woodside was dominant, and they had challengers on the boys' side like a Maury, a Kings Fork, Norview. Ed's team won 15 or so games. But yeah, you're right. I feel like there's a little bit of that parallel there with it as we get ready to wrap it up here with James Clark, 757 Soccer Chat. We'll give him a chance to tell you how you can find his content before we run here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Our man Garrett Jackson with VB United beat VB City, he wants to know, is the question.
Here's what I'll say for that. They should, because they're playing in USL 2 and VB City is playing in a lesser league. But they're gonna play, I think, twice this season, so we'll find out. But as far as my content, you can find me again, 757_soccer_chat, both on Instagram and on Twitter. And then we also are 757 Soccer Chat now on YouTube and 757 Soccer Chat on Spotify. That is where I post all of our podcasts. I do a podcast every Sunday. It drops generally between 10 and 12 a.m. Or 10 a.m. and noon. And drop that every week, talking about what's going on in the rankings. We always post our rankings every weekend as well, now that we are past spring break. So the district standings, as well as the regional standings, and our own opinions on the top 15 in Hampton Roads for both boys and girls. I post all of that information there. And then the last thing we've got going on is the 757 All-Star Games.
Okay.
It will now be not just a game like it was last year for the boys. It is the 757 All-Star Games at the Sportsplex, June 10th.
Awesome.
So a local conglomerate of soccer community folks are putting that on. Fidgety Fan is providing the kits. The Sportsplex has graciously allowed us to play at that site. And then a number of coaches will be selecting players from a pool of players that will be submitted by all the coaches around the region. And then it will be a girls match first, and then a boys match. Again, that's June 10th at the Plex.
Awesome.
Is going to be the 757 All-Star Games Year 2.
Nice. Well, let's make it a plan, James, to get you back on maybe that June 3rd or right around that Saturday before as we get wrapping up the state playoff time. I know Ed wants to ask you about when we get some more time about how we're going to match up with teams around the state and that type of thing, and also preview the All-Star game coming up. That sound like a plan to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, honestly, we've got regions coming up in middle May, so that might be a good time too. Just
get you on middle of May, end of May, right before the All-Star game in June there, and we can highlight that and some of the more names to highlight besides obviously a couple of the goalkeepers, standouts, and our man Brody Doolin, who's the fabulous freshman at Smithfield we've talked about. Actually, we got one here. What would you say? We'll get you on this one here. Our man Derek says, what would you say is the 757 regular season game of the year to attend, boys and girls? Give us a quick one here, James. What's the game of the year if you got to pick it for a fan out there to go check out?
Girls, Grassfield and Western Branch on April 25th. I will be at that one. Rain, snow, sleet, I don't care. That is the matchup for the ladies to watch. As far as the boys go, this month right now, Cox Ocean Lakes, April 16th. Check that one out. Cox Ocean Lakes, April 16th. And then also, if you're on the peninsula side, Gloucester, Menchville. Those two squads are going to have a drag-out fight on the 16th as well.
Ooh,
for the
fight,
Peninsula
Ed.
District.
It's up your alley.
Oh yeah, that one's if you're on the peninsula, go watch that match. It's going to be fantastic game to watch.
Awesome. We look forward to it. Thank you, James, for all the insight and info. And go check him out on the web. You heard it, Instagram, Spotify, the podcast, and so much more. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
Awesome, gents. Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. James Clark with 757 Soccer Chat with us today, as we will take a time out and hear from some more of our sponsors that make it possible for us to do this with you at the Plex. Stay tuned right here on Cova Sports TV. We're going to hear from some more of our sponsors. Then we got LeBron next. We've been teasing it all morning long. LeBron is coming up. Why are you shaking your head? We do have LeBron on.
I know we do, but something's going to tell me.
It's not the King James?
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm just
saying
let
it out of the bag now?
are going to be throwing tomatoes at you.
No, we've got LeBron next.
LeBron haters out there.
No, we have LeBron lovers. From the Maury Commodores, it's LeBron Bond, the Indiana Hoosiers football commit. It's coming your way after you hear from some of our sponsors like Chicho's. Ed's going to get some pizza next on Cova Sports TV.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we are joined by a special guest here on this edition of On the Hash with Hatfield, also airing on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, available on VirginiaPreps.com, Facebook, Twitter, or X, Instagram, and all over the web and YouTube too. He is a standout wide receiver from the reigning Class 5 state champion Maury Commodores out of Norfolk, a perfect 15-0 season for them, and what a season he had, earning first-team All-State honors after getting second-team All-State recognition as a sophomore. His junior year, 1,754 all-purpose yards, 17 total touchdowns, caught a 59-yard TD pass in the first quarter as the Commodores beat Stonebridge, and he's coming off a year where he had 47 catches, 1,347 yards receiving, and 16 touchdown grams. LeBron Bond with us, the newest Indiana Hoosiers commit. LeBron, thanks for stopping by. Congrats on your commitment. How's the offseason grind going for you?
Thank you. It's going good right now. I'm in the track. I've been doing some workouts, out on the weekend with my coach and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a good season for us.
Now, you mentioned you're in the track. I know you've achieved quite a bit on the track scene, as well as your brother Levante, which we'll talk about. Were you originally more of a track athlete than football? And tell me kind of how you've balanced that. And I imagine both sports help you in the other, right?
Yeah, it does. I think I started track before I started football. My dad always wanted me to be fast, so I guess that's why he put me in track. But like growing up, I did both. I always did basketball and track. I mean, not basketball, football and track. So it's always been all year round for me. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, the other question that jumps right to mind, and people, when they saw your name, when you got to Maury High School, I think as a freshman, this was the first thing. LeBron, you're actually the first. This is the first time I've ever interviewed LeBron, by the way, not King James, but LeBron Bond. How did the name come about, and how many times do you get asked about that name being such, a unique first name, if you will?
When I was growing up, everybody used to be like LeBron James, but I guess a couple of years it kind of died down because everybody knew my name was LeBron. But it's now I go places, they'll be like, "Oh, you LeBron, you named after LeBron James," and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know. People just call me that sometimes.
Now, when you get on the football field or you go for a track meet, I imagine people are circling that name because they say, "Oh, LeBron, he's got to be some type of special dude." Have you heard that from other competitors? And do you get some not so friendly trash talk from your competitors, competition?
Sometimes people say stuff about my name, but it really don't faze me for real. They be like, like my mom and dad like had to be like a big LeBron fan or something like that. Yeah, but I don't really phase me.
Oh, I mean, listen, you're the first I've come across with that, so that's pretty unique in itself here. Now, for you, you just made your commitment to Indiana. You're going there to the Big Ten. How many offers did you end up getting here before you made your announcement?
I had 22 offers.
22 offers. I think some of those schools included like Boston College, Maryland, Duke, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, some of the others. What was it about the Hoosiers and what made you decide to do it now?
I feel like schools, they was like when I go to visits and stuff, I feel like sometimes like I'll talk to them, but like I really want like talking to them for real. But like when I went to Indiana, it was just like all love from like the coaches, like players, and like I just love everything about Indiana.
Now, were they recruiting you real heavily before the coaching staff changed? Kurt Signetti coming in from James Madison, were they on you high, or did it really accelerate once he got the job?
Once he got the job, I think I got the offer like in February. Like ever since I got the offer, like they just been on me like a lot.
Who's been your main recruiter or recruiters there? And any assistant coaches you can shout out? Or
Coach Miller.
Coach Miller, okay.
Coach,
what's the vibe like with him, and what's the connection been?
I personally love Coach Miller a lot. He kind of young, so like he kind of like we could get along like real good. Yeah,
gotcha. And I believe your position coach will be, is it Mike Shanahan, who was with James Madison? Did you have a bond with some of the coaches, not just Coach Signetti, Coach Shanahan, the group there from James Madison? Did they recruit you previously there?
No, I haven't talked to them like when they was at James Madison.
Okay. How about what you think about the fit as far as the style of offense that they play and what you can bring to the table there?
I think my skill set, it fits perfect in their offense because like they do a lot of screens, a lot of like short passes, RPOs and stuff like that. So I personally feel I can fit in the offense.
What do they like most about your game?
Definitely my speed, my yards after catch, and like just me with the ball in my hands. So like special team wise, like all that.
Have you been to Bloomington?
Yes, I've been in Bloomington.
What was it like there? I imagine pretty cold if you went here in this time of year.
Yeah, I like we went. It was like 70 degrees, but
wow, okay.
Yeah, they told us we could have good day, but like I like the campus. Like it was one of the best campuses I ever been on. Like I can go to I feel like my parents and they feel safe with me in Bloomington. Like it's real like. For real, feel like the suburbs, for real. Like Bloomington, it's pretty up there.
Now, they haven't gotten a ton of 7.57 guys, and they've gotten a couple over the years. And a few years back, they got Maurice Freeman from Oscar Smith, ended up going to Liberty. But do you feel like Big Ten football and getting a chance to play on that big stage will bring out the best in your abilities and your potential?
Yes, I'm ready for it.
Good deal. You know what you want to study there in Indiana yet? Have you even looked at that yet for college? Or
I'm trying to do sports market. Okay. Yeah.
Now you're listed at, I want to get this right. This could be wrong, so correct if it is. Is it 5'8", 155?
No, I'm 5'9", 170.
All right, we'll get that fixed there on your profile page there.
Mm-hmm.
For you, I felt like, and I mentioned this to Coach McCain when we had him on our On the Hash with Hatfield podcast after you guys won the state championship in December. You had your breakout in the playoffs. Now, you were good before that, good as a sophomore, knew your name as a freshman, in fact, when schools were knowing you were going to be a player to watch years to come. Had a good regular season, but the postseason, you raised your game. What was it about the playoffs that elevated your play and those around you?
I feel like I had to step up, I just feel like I had to step up so like we could win. I knew like coming into like the season, like I was gonna have to be a leader. I was gonna have to step up to help my team out. I already knew. Like me and my quarterback, we built a bond. Like we used to get up on free blocks and stuff like that. So like I just knew that I had to step up to so we could get it done.
Other good receivers with you, like Fred J.R. Johnson, who's now at South Carolina playing his college football. Josh Powell, Devontae Floyd went to Duke ACC, and you're coming back with a really good receiving core with Javonte Wiggins, and a new face joining your receiving core this year. Matt Williams, Elijah Moss, this whole group. How much do you all push each other, and does it sort of bring out the best that you all have, that almost that alpha dog about you all? Tell me about what that's been like as you guys went through that journey last year, 15-0, tough schedule, made it look easy.
You know, we push each other a lot. Like sometimes on the weekends, you know, the quarterback, he texts us. We try to like get up and run some routes and stuff like that. We bring the DBs out there, and like we do some one-on-ones and stuff like that.
All right, you mentioned the screen passes that you can take that little screen, the bubble, and you're gone with your speed to the house. What's your favorite route? You got screens, you got digs, you got posts, you got go routes. What's the 4th and 10 game on the line? LeBron, and you haven't had many of those close situations because you at Maury, you guys blow people out. But games on the line, Torrey Newkirk, your quarterbacks go into you, Coach McCain, they're calling your number. What's the route where you know you can just abuse the opposition and take it to the house? What's the go-to route?
My personal favorite route is a post route. Like I feel like it's the hardest route.
What would you say it was? Post route.
Post. I feel like it's the hardest, the guard for a DB, because it's like you can run your route like based on like how the DB playing you. So like I feel like it's real hard, especially like covering me. I feel like it's hard.
Now I'm so old. I remember covering Coach McCain when he played at Maury. That just tells you how old I am. I don't quite have the gray hair yet to reflect that, but he was a part of some really good teams at Maury. Didn't quite win a state championship like you guys did as players. How much has he broken out the film from when he played, or is that just leave that dust, that VCR, VHS stuff, leave it away? Has he brought that up at all, you guys?
You know, like he be talking like he was nice, but like he showed us the film. He showed us the film to back it up though. But I believe him now. I hear people saying he was good and stuff.
Now, when you get to Maury, team a few years before, maybe a year or two before you got there, won a state championship with Keandre Lambert-Smith, Penn State, Ty Granger, Deshaun Peel, Cameron LeBourne, really good receiving core. How much did that set the bar for what you all wanted to accomplish a season ago? And did you all as a group talk about we want to match their stats and kind of see if we can do what they did, maybe even better?
Yeah, like in the summertime, like it was really like coaches like bringing up like the stats that they had and stuff like that, like what they did to get it done and stuff like that. So like we basically like coach basically was motivating us like to be better than that team. He felt like we can be better than that team. So that's people still think it's a debate like who was better, the 2019 team or the team from last year. But I'm gonna leave that to the people.
I think there was a lot of questions going into last year about the quarterback position, who would play it for Maury and at what level. And there's been some good quarterbacks in the past. And Torrey Newkirk blew people away, state player of the year. I forget if it might have been you. It was you or one of your teammates in the post-game presser really blew me away. And I think some sitting there about just what a leader he was. And tell me why he is, in your estimation. I don't want to speak for you, but I imagine you think he is, without a doubt, the best quarterback in the 7.57, the state, and one of the best in the country. What makes him so good and the rapport you all have so special?
Like I said, like Torrey, like the type guy, like we'll have a free block. He trying to get up. He trying to get some routes in with everybody. He trying to like go over to the plays and stuff like that. He trying to like get up on weekends, you know, make sure everybody got the plays, make sure everybody, you know what they're doing and stuff like that. I feel like he was a great leader to the team. As far as like to the wide out, to the lineman, he pushed the lineman every day and stuff like that. If he mess up, it's he'll a hard worker for sure. Yeah, but that's what he like.
You mentioned the hard worker, and this talent doesn't win unless it works hard. And people look at Maury and say, "Oh, they just got talent." What made last year's team so special in your eyes? In addition to the working hard part, what made the group go from good, coming up just short a couple of seasons prior in the state finals, state playoffs, to winning it all last year? What was the difference in your eyes?
Like we competed every day, like whether it's one-on-ones, team period, like we competed every day. Like sometimes, like the defense will get us sometimes, but it's like the next day, like we trying to compete. Like we used to have 2 days. Like the defense may win in the morning. Like when we come to the night practice, like it's like everybody got a chip on their shoulder. Everybody going hard. Like everybody, yeah.
Couple more minutes here with LeBron Bond, our guest here on The Hash with Hatfield, 757 Saturday Sports Talk, all a part of Cova Sports TV. Just like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll finish up with some rapid fire with LeBron as well, get his thoughts on this coming season. But for you, what do you think sets you apart from other receivers in your class? I imagine after the seasons you've had here, sophomore, junior year, and now you're a marked man, people are going to circle when number 8, you wear number 8, right? I think it's number 8. Number 8's on the field. They know who you are. What do you think distinguishes you in your game, and what are you trying to improve in your craft this coming year before you get to college?
I definitely think like I'm a speedster. That's when everybody talk about me, I think that's the first thing they say about my speed and stuff like that. But I think I also can like run routes and catch. But like improving on all season, I think I should like get bigger. Like I think I should be like get bigger and stuff like that. I think that's what my weakness is, I guess.
And I know it's early. You guys are just beginning the work, the off-season work, if you will, before the 2024 season, which will be here before we know it in August. But 4 months away, what can people expect from this year's team? And I know another good receiving core, another explosive offense we should look for, right?
Yes. I think
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business. Is there for
number
you.
8, right?
I think that is what
number
motivates
8's on the
us,
field. They
what
know who
drives
you
us,
are.
and the idea that we are
what do you
trying
think
to serve others and
distinguishes
enrich
you in your
lives.
game,
I think it's very
and what are you
true.
trying to improve in your craft? This coming year before you get to college.
I definitely think like I'm a speedster. That's when when everybody talk about me, I think that's the first thing they say about my speed and stuff like that. But I think I also can like run routes and catch. But like improving on all season, I think I should like get bigger. Like I think I should be like get bigger and stuff like that. I think that's what my weakness is, I guess.
And I know it's early. You guys are just beginning the work, the off-season work, if you will, before the 2024 season, which will be here before we know it in August. But 4 months away, what can people expect from this year's team? And I know another good receiving core, another explosive offense we should look for, right?
Yes. I think we could do the same thing we did last year. We could definitely win it again. It might be up to debate what team was better. But I don't know. I think we should get it done this year too. We should get it done this year.
What will be different in your game? Are you going to be usually thinking different roles for Coach McCann? And I'm sure you're probably in his ear and the coach's ears about, Coach, give me this one. Let me try this. There's some different things there as a senior, right?
Yeah. We haven't talked about it yet, but I think like I should be more like use more a little bit.
I got you. Now, you're a pretty lethal weapon in special teams, correct? Returning punts and kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you enjoy more, returning kicks or punts?
I like the kickoff. I like the kickoff return.
Why is that?
Cause it's like I get the ball, and like I got space to like maneuver and stuff. Like punt, like sometimes you got to fair catch it and stuff. Like you get it, like people are already in your face. I just feel like kick return easier to me. I feel like I can catch punts though.
Okay. Now they're talking about outlawing that potentially in NFL. You don't want that because that might one day be your ticket to the pros. You never know, right?
Yeah.
Now, who do you love watching pro college games? Any receivers or NFL players that you feel like, oh, that's a dog right there. I like what he does in football. Who do you study? Anybody in particular when you're watching football?
Here and there I watch Tank Dell highlights, but my favorite receiver Tavon Austin. I like Percy Harvin too because he came from the area. Yeah, I definitely look at the Percy Harvin. He was one of my favorite receivers when he was at Seattle.
Yeah, he was pretty fast. I remember being on the sideline one time and he blew by me. I thought it was like the wind we've had outside here in Hampton Roads lately. Now you might be able to get him in a race now. When he was young, it'd be a photo finish. We're gonna have to get this, zoom in and see who take it. Last couple here before we let you run. How about track? How's the track season going? And what are you best at in track in your eyes?
We just started outdoor. We got a meet this week, but I feel like I'm like more of a sprinter, like 100-meter guy, 200-meter guy. Well, yeah, that's what I'm definitely good at.
That's what you're okay. Good deal. And for you, I mentioned your older brother. How much do you all? And by the way, has he committed or signed anywhere yet for college?
Yeah, he's Norfolk State.
Oh, he's going to Norfolk State. Cool, that's great. And for football or for track?
Football.
Football, okay. You all go at each other. I'm sure he makes you better. You make him better. what's the sibling rivalry been like between you and him and Levante?
Like when we was little, it would get bad. We'll go with each other, we'll go against each other. Like sometimes
you said it would get bad. Does that mean mom, dad, somebody in the family had to break it up? How did it get bad?
It will get bad. Like I'll win, and I'll talk trash to him in the car on the way home. Then we'll start but this, when we get older though, it's still that, but we just leave it at practice, But every day we go against each other. Sometimes I'll win, sometimes he'll win, but every day is definitely competition. It's still competition in the house right now. It's still competition.
Who's the bigger smack talker, you or him?
I'll say both of us for real.
Oh, okay, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Video games, you all go at each other with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What's the video game? Is it Madden? Is it 2K? What is it that?
It's Madden 2. It's Madden and 2K. Sometimes Fortnite.
Okay, awesome. And lastly, for this coming season, it's your last hurrah here with Maury. Well, recruiting wise, let's get it out of the way. Are you definitely shutting it down, Indiana? Are you not listening to anybody else as far as it goes? And are you planning to sign early or late? Have you given that any thought as well?
I knew I wanted to sign early, but it's I didn't know how early. Okay. And Indiana just yeah.
Good. Well, we're happy for you on the commitment, and we wish you all the best with the Hoosiers. Before we let you run here, LeBron, you ready to play some rapid fire with us?
Yeah.
Here we go for the Rivals 3-star LeBron Bond out of Maury High School in Norfolk. Reigning state champs trying to go back-to-back this year. He committed to play his college football for the Hoosiers, Coach Signetti, and Indiana in the Big Ten. All right, favorite TV show?
Jesse?
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the first one that's giving me that. How about favorite movie?
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Are you a LeBron fan or not? X?
Instagram.
All right. What's your go-to candy?
Sour Patch Kid.
Sour Patch Kids. All right. Can trade places with one person in the world. Who would it be?
This a hard one. NBA YoungBoy.
NBA YoungBoy. All right. I thought you were going to say LeBron James. Are you a LeBron fan or not too much?
I don't really watch basketball yet, but yeah, I guess.
Okay, you guess. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you had LeBron fatigue from the name there. Fastest player on the Maury football team is?
Me.
Okay, let's make sure you weren't going to give me somebody else. Who's the second fastest player on the Maury football team? Now you got to think here.
Yeah, I got to think. It's either Javon, Elijah. It's either one of them. They're definitely fast though.
Okay. While we're on the Maury football team, who does the best impersonation of Coach McCain? It could be a past guy, a present guy. Don't worry, he won't watch this and make them run. It's okay.
I don't really know. Everybody got one.
Everybody's got one?
Yeah, probably Darius Bowman.
Bowman. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's hope he's not doing sprints through the entire month of August and the dog days of summer, July and August. All right. Did you fill out an NCAA tournament bracket?
No.
You didn't. Okay. You don't. Basketball is not a sport for you. Your second favorite sport after football is it track or is it?
It's track.
Okay. Who's the best track dude in the world you like to watch? Anybody?
Noah Lyles.
Noah Lyles. Okay. All right. Best player you've gone up against in high school?
Is it is it can Maury people count?
Yeah, you can count more. You can count someone from the Commodores.
I'm gonna say Devontae Floyd and Levante Bond.
All right. And how about this will be we'll get you out this one. Best opponent you've gone up against is
Holland Springs.
Highland Springs. What about individual player? Any individual player?
Oh, nah.
Not one player sticks out. All right.
Nah.
Well, hey, congratulations again on your commitment to Indiana. We're looking forward to watching you with the Hoosiers. You are part of a trio that's already committed in this class of 2025. More guys, I'm sure, to come along with Ari Watford, Carlton Smith, who are going to Clemson and Maryland, respectively. Thanks for the time. We'll see you guys out. Hopefully, I guess, passingly be here before you know it, and all the best.
See you.
That's LeBron Bond, our guest here on the Hash with Hatfield and 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We'll take a time out and hear from some of our sponsors that make it possible for us. Stay tuned right here on Cova Sports TV.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the gain.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League Two Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
Okay, folks, this is the Norfolk Tides Sweet Press Box. Take a look at this. Good stuff right here. You got the TV, you got the table, you got, hold on, wait. You even got Coach Ed Young in the house. What are you doing here?
Watching some good baseball, minor league baseball with my future Yankees and some future Orioles coming on up.
Unbelievable. They let anybody in Harbor Park's press box. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. I'm just lost for words.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
And welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's our final segment, I think, on this particular Saturday morning, the 13th day of April, the year 2024. Wherever you may be, we thank you for tuning in. We've had on James Clark to talk about the 757 soccer scene. You heard from LeBron, came on the show. LeBron Bond, who's committed to play his college football for the Hoosiers of Indiana. That's Bond. LeBron Bond.
Not James. So some people thought we said James.
You know about James Bond or LeBron James?
Yeah, we never said we had James. James on.
Listen, we had LeBron on and we had James on today.
We just didn't have LeBron James.
We had James Clark and we had LeBron, Bond. So, you can't get everything you want in this world. You saw the Allen Iverson statue, by the way, during our last, as we came back. Is it me or is that statue a little tiny?
I have a beef with that statue.
You got a beef with that statue?
First of all, it was tremendous.
You had not roast beef last night. I
had some.
Yeah. Okay.
It's great to honor Allen with the Sixers and all that. And I don't know, again, I don't know anything about it, just my opinion.
Who are you blaming on this? Are you blaming the owner? Are you blaming the owner? Who are you blaming for
whoever? Yeah, I guess that's what you'd have to do is put it on the owner. That statue should have been much bigger. And I think that, it's a great honor. You got a statue, it's tremendous. But when you show those other statues and how big they were, and then here comes Iverson taking the towel off, I thought maybe that was something they were giving to him to take home. But that's out there in the stadium. So, but again, great honor. I just think it should have been bigger.
Yeah. But you're not going to blame the owner?
I guess if that's who put it up is the owner. Times are tough.
Well, listen, you can blame. I'm with you. When Moses got a statue, Billy Cunningham got a statue, the Chuckster got a statue, Dr. J got a statue, and Iverson got a little tiny. Bethel High Great got a little tiny statue. Speaking of owners, by the way, go ahead.
What was the one where the guy was leaning way? Bobby Jones was leaning way out.
You want to see that again here? Hold on.
Like let me see here. To follow. He was going to
follow. Let me see if I can find that here. Give me a second. We got Factor of Fiction coming up in just a moment. Hang on, folks. We'll run that by for those that missed that in just a second here. People can see that in just a moment here. I'm looking for it. We just had it. Now I gotta find it. Give me 1 second. So Ed, I think that was
Bobby Jones.
That was Bobby Jones, but Mo Cheeks was the other statue we forgot there. Yeah,
that's how we knew Bobby Jones diving on the floor for loose balls. And
diving on the floor.
Going for it. So, but at least they got one from my man Will Chamberlain, most dominant player in the history of basketball.
Hey, I want to get back to our Tides thing in a second, but also real quick, your owners. I mentioned, you know who gave credit to an owner last night and he wasn't there? Earl Foreman. The Iceman did. You know what he said about Earl Foreman? Here's what he said last night.
That Earl saw something in me that can make him some money and me too.
Right, he thanked Earl Foreman. He saw something in ice that made him some money and made it, mutually beneficial is what it was. That was funny. Ice was a trip last night. I got one more ice clip before we sign off here. Tides game though. How fun was that on Wednesday? And you know what? A couple of your minor leaguers for Scranton, I'm blaming you for the Tides losing back-to-back games and going on a skid because they have not won with you in the ballpark, and they were doing a lot of winning. I think you are bad juju.
But they've lost without me in the ballpark, so I don't know where that analogy comes from.
No. They win when you're not there.
I
when
did
you're
get
there,
to see
they
Jackson
lose.
Holiday, potentially Jackson
I
Holiday.
didn't. You and Jack Lowe did. I'm so jealous of both of you guys. I didn't get to see it. I was going to go Tuesday. I went Wednesday, and he was already gone by then.
Good buddy Jim Hammond, Shawan professor.
See, Jim Hammond's his good buddy. I'm not his good buddy, so this works.
Thank Jim again for having us down there to speak to the coaching classes this past week. The future coaches, about 23 of them, different sports. We got to talk to them, and Jim and I went to see the game, and he had actually left, I think, in the 7th inning, and I stayed till the end of the game and saw Jackson Holiday's last at bat. I say last because he may stick up there and may never come back, or maybe won't hit real well, and then they'll bring him back down again to tune up some things. But I kind of think he's going to stay for good. He's a good-looking youngster with the bat and in the field. And I say youngster, he truly looks like a youngster. I guess he's 20, and he really looks like he's 12.
Yeah. Well, 3 of the top 5 home run hitters, Heston Kjerstad, Kyle Stowers, and Kobe Mayo, all with the Tides in the International League. They are just hitting home runs at a record clip. But it is time now. We'll cue up a little bit of some music in the background for it. A little bit of music for our
At the nail on the head. If these guys stay down, yeah, but if they go up and stay at any length of time, not sure. Surpassed last year at 2.
I would assume.
Yeah, now if he gets picked 5th, you're right. The first 4 could be quarterbacks.
Now,
Chicago needs one. Washington needs one. Who's third?
The third pick in this year's draft belongs to the New England Patriots, who could take Harrison if they don't want to take a quarterback.
Yeah, that's where he could go. Who's 4th?
I hope my team takes him 4th.
Cardinals are 4th, right?
But you're gonna say this is fiction?
100% fiction, because the Cardinals, if he's available, the Cardinals will definitely take him.
I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong, but my fear is that they will make a trade with Minnesota, who is trying so hard from 11 to get a quarterback.
Yep.
The Pats will end up taking one because with Gerard Mayo, by the way, we talked about Gerard Mayo with Bob Sosey when he got hired during the playoffs. Used to be the voice of the Tides, did Navy football, and now does the Patriots. And I'm going to say that this is sadly going to be a fact, but I fear.
Well, hold on now. Let's do this.
No, you can't have a conditional if it's a trade.
No, because if there's trades, based on the way the draft is right now, without any trades,
no trades. Bears, Commanders. It's going to be Caleb Williams 1 to the Bears. 2 is going to be Jaden Daniels to the Commanders. 3 is going to be New England. 4 Arizona. 5 Chargers. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
That's what I'm saying. Harrison will go to the Cardinals at 4 if there's no trades.
Right.
Trades can nullify that because they're going to trade up more than likely for quarterback Wouldn't be surprised somebody tries to trade up to get Harrison. He's that good of a talent.
Oh, I don't think so. Not in top 4. And if my Cardinals trade out, I think they're silly. That's
and I'm going to also say this. I'll probably be one of the very few.
And I'm not big on McCarthy or Drake May, either one.
Well, a lot of people are having J.J. McCartney. I heard what San Diego was trying to trade up.
Is J.J. McCartney Paul's brother? I thought it was
Yeah.
McCarthy.
I don't.
He says J.J. McCartney. Go ahead.
I don't think the way that people are talking about these quarterbacks, including Williams, I'm a little hesitant to say these guys are going to be tremendous NFL quarterbacks.
I agree.
There's too many guys that have been drafted that haven't played well. And for some crazy reason, it seems like the guys taken way later, Tom Brady comes to mind real quick, become the better quarterbacks. The ones with a lot of the hype.
I think the two best players
did not have a lot of hype out of college.
Right.
And he's considered the greatest of all time now, which I think is a joke.
Well, there's a couple teams below the top 5 that need, for example, the Jets need more offensive line help. I know they went out and got Tyron Smith, but there's talk about them getting the offensive tackle Joe Alt from Notre Dame if he's there, but I'm not sure he makes it to 10. But if they're at 10, the guy they should definitely take is – we got a thumbs up bubble. That's weird over your head. Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia, who I think is the second best player in this draft after Marvin Harrison, who I believe is the best player in this draft. I think the pass-catching guys are big in this draft. The quarterbacks are big names in this draft. Sometimes you have a run of pass rushers or defensive backs or whatever it might be. I don't think it's a deep offensive line draft. I think there's some solid guys. But I'm curious because 5 and 6, Chargers at 5, Giants at 6 do not need quarterbacks. Remember, Justin Herbert's with the Chargers, now with Jim Harbaugh as the coach. At 6, you have the Giants, who got Daniel Jones last year. They signed to a long-term deal. They lost Saquon Barkley in the offseason to Philadelphia. I look at this draft, and there's not a guy, as great as Harrison and Bowers even are, there's not a Victor Wembanyama transformational player in this draft that you have to. I know people say Caleb Williams is that guy. He didn't have as great a year this past season as he did the year before at Southern Cal. There's not a Wembanyama guy that I say you have to build your – and if I was the Bears, I would have kept Fields and traded down. That's just me, but they didn't do that. They got rid of Fields for a bag of balls, and there you go. Send them to Pittsburgh and send them packing.
Yeah, I thought Pittsburgh got the better of that deal.
Before we get to our next two-factor fix, and speaking of Wembanyama, that made me think about Iceman last night talking about Victor. You heard what he said about Victor last night, right? Someone asked him about what you would tell a young player today. You're still in the front office, the cornerstones out there. Did you catch that, or were you out there getting some roast beef, ham and turkey at the hospitality?
He said he's going to be the next greatest.
Well, here's what he said. But don't spoil for everybody. Here's what he said.
Well, it always comes down to it ain't how much you make, it's how much you learn how to keep. I'm glad they did. Young Victor, who's with the Spurs, he definitely could be the next face of the NBA. And he has the game, he has personality, his characters is beautiful, and so he's the kind of guy that people gravitate to, because people love people that have humility and are humble, and that's what he is, and he would be a tremendous example for the league, and that's what I would tell a lot of young guys is, the opportunity that you got, y'all, is short-lived. It's a reality. When we played, corporate America wasn't as involved as it is today. Corporate America is all a part of this league today, and these guys got an unbelievable opportunity to make a lot of money. But I would always tell them to be a part of the community and community service. Get involved in the community. A lot of kids look up to, our guys, and be a good example. Our kids are our future, and we need good examples to, create leaders.
So you heard there from Dr. J was sitting next to Iceman George Gervin, who talked about Victor Wembanyama. He was also asked about it's one thing to make a lot of money. Can you keep it is the big question. And Victor Wembanyama is the face of the NBA, which we tie back to our fact or fiction question on the quarterbacks. I think you said fiction. I'm going to go fact. But our next one, though, has to do with Victor Wembanyama. Will win Defensive Player in the NBA by 2025. He is second right now on the odds behind Rudy Gobert, who's expected to win it. But I'm going to say this is an absolute fact. And he talked about character, doing things in the community. He feels like he's a great face of the NBA moving forward. He could be, and this is crazy to say, second or third best player in the league by next year, but he is that good right now. He is so incredible to watch. If you haven't watched this guy play, he is an alien out there. He is something special. I said it to you back when the season started. He's exceeded those numbers and expectations by leaps and bounds. He's that good.
I could see it about 25. I mean, we're only talking this year or next. The thing about him, he's defending a lot of guards who he's like 2 feet bigger than some of them, it seems like. So he can block some shots. He's long. He's going to get some hands-on passes, deflect a lot of passes. And, of course, he'll come up with some steals because of that size. So I can see that. I can very easily see that. He easily become, and I think he's going to win a few Defensive Player of the Year awards. And I say that as a joke. He's going to win a lot by the time he retires because he's going to be around a long time.
By the way, Gobert, if he gets it like he's expected to with Minnesota, it would be his fourth, I think, which is quite a feat.
Gobert gets a lot. He's inside quicks. He's deceptive inside. He's a 7-footer. He's going to block shots. See, when I look at Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA or in basketball in general, I tend to go to the smaller guys who are quick, deflect passes, can block shots, disrupt offenses, more so than the 7-footer who's blocking shots, even though that is a defensive gem to do, to block shots. I don't care how big you are. But I tend to look at the 6, 7 down size guys. So I'm kind of being prejudiced towards the smaller guys to win that award. But Victor is a 7'4" phenomenon playing the perimeter. He's not an inside player. So in terms of what I'm looking for, he fits that, not size-wise, but he plays the perimeter a lot. So that's what I'm saying. I would say fact. No,
I think it's a fact. Yeah, and I think those things he talked about, you're going to see Wembanyama doing those things. Gervin talked about his advice for youngsters, getting the community, doing those things. Those things matter. And I think it builds camaraderie, teamwork, unity, those things. I think he gets it, and he's got the right coach in Popovich, who will stay on a few more years longer probably, as opposed to retiring early. And I like direction. We got one more fact or fiction, and it's also an NBA question to close out this edition of Fact or Fiction. Haven't disagreed as many as I thought. Oklahoma City Thunder, currently in a 3-way tie atop the West as the regular season ends tomorrow, will be the number 1 seed for the upcoming playoffs, but will fail to reach the Western Conference Finals. You want to take this first or me?
Denver's going to be in the final.
Western is going to be from
Denver
what
will be there.
seed? From what seed?
So
you got the regular season ending tomorrow.
Minnesota's in the West, right?
Minnesota. So it's a 3-way tie, but if you look at it, and we'll put up the ticker with the NBA standings so you can see this to get a better idea as we get ready to close out this show at 12 noon here. You have currently Denver in the 3-hole, Minnesota in the 2-hole, Oklahoma City in the 1-hole because they hold the tiebreaker. But tomorrow, everybody's in action. They close out the season, and you're looking at Oklahoma City hosting Dallas. Don't need the game per se. One back of the Clippers. You have the Nuggets at the Grizzlies. Figures to be a win, but Denver fell on the banana peel against Victor and the Spurs last night. And then you have the T-Wolves hosting the Suns, who could certainly need that game if they want to stay out of the play-in situation in the West, as you see the ticker now with the standings. So this is a complicated question because you need 2 elements of it to be right or wrong, get the 1 seed and fail to reach the Western Conference Finals. I'm going to say it is going to be, believe it or not, a fact. He's going to probably go fiction because he thinks he'll get one of the 2 things wrong, but I don't think they're getting the Western Conference Finals, whether they get the 1 seed or not. I think they're still too young and raw, as great as Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren are. But I do think because of who those teams have left, they should not lose to the Mavs tomorrow. And I will say, I'll go fact. They will get the 1, but they'll lose in the second round to the Mavs Clippers 4-5 winner. There's my pick. That's why I will go fact. You're going to probably agree with some of those, but you'll go fiction because you need 2 elements to go right, and you'll just take your.
Well, I don't feel they'll be in the Western Conference Final. I think Denver will be, and I'm for some crazy reason I'm leaning towards Dallas.
That's what
it now depends on how the brackets go.
Well, I mean, if they all 3 win, it's going to be what it is right now. OKC is the 1. Minnesota as the 2,
So they could
and
meet.
Denver as the 3. So you would be like me. You would say fact if you agree with all that.
Yeah, because if Denver stays 3 all the way through, they're going to meet Oklahoma City in the semis. So one of them won't go.
Denver will not meet Oklahoma City in the semis.
Oh, that's right. 2 plays 3.
Yeah. 1 plays 4 or 5 if they get out of the first round as an 8.
So, yeah.
And by the way, if they have to face the 8 seed of the Suns or the Lakers or the Warriors, have fun with that. That's not a given.
That's interesting.
And you could have the second year in a row an 8 seed beats a 1 because just last year Miami was able to bounce Milwaukee on their way to reaching the NBA Finals, falling to Denver in the championship round last June. So it's not as cut and dry as it's a Denver-Boston foregone conclusion. Both 1 seeds go like the UConn Purdue men in college basketball yawn our way through. This could be a little trickier than that. It could be a little more complicated than that, sir. So are you going fact or fiction with this question as you try to figure out and decipher and do the spin with your fingers like you're making a drawing of finger painting over here? And don't do that because your finger paints would be
Fiction.
You're going to go fiction. Okay. We'll bring these back out later and see who was right, who was wrong, and who ends up getting to tell the country that
I'm reading it wrong. I should be putting my glass on. Oklahoma City will fail to reach the Western Conference Final. That is true. They're going to fail. But it's a two-part question, though. We're also saying they're going to be the number 1 seed, but they're going to fail to reach it. I think they'll be number 1 seed, and they will fail. So I'm going, it's fact for me. Fact.
I've got a headache, ladies and gents. Let me take some Excedrin while I've got it in my pocket. He's giving me a headache over here. He's all over the place. He can't. I'm going to take my medicine. That's going to close out the edition of Fat or Fiction, ladies and gents.
We're on a national podcast, and he's taking drugs. This is why my
medication. I'm not taking drugs. Medication. You have put me to take medication.
I'm going to get a buyout because I cannot work under these
what
conditions.
You say and how you say it and where you say it.
I have a partner who is taking drugs.
I do not know. No. I don't believe in that. Don't even go there. I was the kid that did the DARE speech when I was in elementary school. Point of view. It's a true story. I did the DARE speech.
Yeah, you did a speech in school.
Abuse, resistance, education. I did a little thing, don't take drugs. They taste like bugs. Yuck. There you go. And that's going to close out this edition of the podcast as Ed Young tries to get that out of his head that I said the drugs and the bugs and all that stuff. We will be back next week, Lord willing, daydreaming as usual, one of Ed's favorite things to do. We hope you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hey, next week is PIT. We never even mentioned it.
Portsmouth Invitational Tournament will be out there. I'll be doing some streaming. He'll be hobnobbing, trying to find that hospitality room and seeing what he can break down for basketball. We might do a segment during the week with somebody from the PIT. Might throw up a couple of interviews, see who's out there. I know who you're looking forward to seeing playing. The big fella. I know you are.
Yeah, I got to see what Mr. Burns does. Not
from The Simpsons?
Burns. This Burns. DJ Burns, rumor is he's there.
All right. Well, we'll see him and maybe others out there at the PIT next week. Come on over to Churchland High School and say hello to us, and we'll talk to you next week here on Cova Sports TV. Have a great weekend, everyone.